Hello, and welcome back to Seagulls Social, Season 2, Episode 18? Yeah?
Probably.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
17. It was literally only yesterday, wasn't it? So, should be. Anyway, if you've noticed, Maz isn't here.
Where's Maz gone? Where's he gone,
This is the second time he hasn't been here, but the first time it will actually go live, well, hopefully. Last time was a Newcastle pod, we done it with Kendall, and it was a great episode of me and Ryan, even though we were both really, really ill. And we couldn't, basically all of her footage got corrupt, so we couldn't even post it. It's the first episode we actually missed. That was a shame, but hopefully we've got Jack Albion here, if you haven't seen already. Hello, Jack, welcome.
Hello, nice to see you both.
This is the one that everyone's been calling for, by the way.
Yeah,
so all over Twitter, it's been drummed up, so it's been waiting for a big moment like this. So I think we've got a bit of a fitting moment, Jack, haven't we?
Yeah,
it's like get Knockout on the pod, get Jack Albion on the pod. They're both in the same conversations normally.
Exactly.
I'll irritate everybody on the post instead of, on the pod instead of Twitter this time. So.
Well, Mode on the dance floor. Were you on the dance floor last night, or did you go home after?
No, I got home at about 1, I think. I walked back from Portslade Station. It took a long time to walk back.
So it's a tough stretch, that bit.
It's not really. I think I just had too much to drink. So.
Oh, fair enough. I know. Well, that walk to the Garden Bar. It's a long walk.
Yeah, no, that is actually a bit of a trek, isn't it? So, and I'm only like two roads along from that. Nobody knows my address, so that's fine.
Don't Google search where Garden Bar is.
Yeah. Just ignore my address. But yeah,
mate,
no, it was
my
good.
My mates after the match went to Fatboy Slim, and my friend Godfrey has one of this unbelievable bucket hat, and they actually gave it to Fatboy Slim, and he was DJing with a bucket hat on. So imagine how good that away day was. That was meant to be my away day because I couldn't go yesterday because of COVID. I was livid. That would have been.
Oh, are you positive then?
Yeah, mate. I tested positive
am I gonna
2
catch
days
it
ago.
Through the pod or?
Yeah, through the microphone, mate. Yeah,
because I'm immune. I can't get it.
Yeah, hang on a minute. We've gone from being Seagulls Social to literal pub talk. Like this is literally just a pub conversation.
It's all it is, really.
But it's okay. It makes it entertaining. Love it.
Anyway,
so boys, let's talk
right.
about the game. Come on, Ben. You kick it off, mate, because you probably saw more of the game than I did because I did the rounds on Twitter.
Yeah.
I did do a bit of a naughty one and go for a date night while the game was on, but I did see the second.
Did you tell Chloe that you went on a date night?
Funny one. But yeah, you kick it off, mate. You kick it off.
Well, obviously, the main thing and the build-up that I realised is that we've played, apparently, according to the presenter, we've played 109 teams in our club history, and Chelsea, the only team that we've never beaten, and we still haven't beaten him, but yesterday felt like a win. Jack, you were there. Talk us through just the game in general, and then also we'll go into more detail. But yeah, what was it like?
Yeah, so the first 10 before the goal, we were pretty decent. I don't remember me being too worried, but of course I got a corner. And then they scored from that. Another frustrating set-piece goal, to be honest, which is becoming a slight problem. And then after that, we seemed to be on the front foot for the entire game, and I don't think I've seen us play as well away at top 6 club, maybe except for the City game last season.
Liverpool were pretty good.
Yeah, Liverpool was right. Yeah,
Liverpool.
For not that amount of time, though. For not that amount of time, we dominated them.
Yeah, we dominated, and even if we'd come away with nothing, we would have had a lot to be proud of. And then, of course, we got an equaliser at the end. So, the fantastic game, really.
Welbeck, out of all people, who would have thought? I mean, that Chelsea Roy video, I don't know if you've seen it. I think it might have been his season preview where he's like, who thinks Brighton are going to finish mid-table?
Yeah.
And then he goes, their best striker, Danny Welbeck, they can't even keep him fit. He never scores. And then it cuts to them scoring against Chelsea.
To an extent, no. He is right, because we did rely on Danny Welbeck in that game. But we don't rely on him completely, so he's...
No, never.
But, and that, of course, that was a beautiful thing, that Danny Welbeck got the equaliser. He seems to be the top, haunting half of the top 6, because they've either released him or they play for a team they hate. So...
Yeah. I just love, mate, the celebrations for the goal. We'll probably start back to front and it doesn't really make sense, but we'll do it anyway. Let's just talk about the goal because people want to hear about it. The scenes, mate, the absolute scenes. The camera was shaking.
I wish I was there.
Potter turned around to the Chelsea fans. He gave it to him. I've heard there were like Chelsea fans that were like trying to hold on to the ball, and one of them kicked into the fan's face, and Welbeck ran over to them and celebrated in front of them. And the away limbs, and obviously that video has gone viral, but. We'll go to you soon, Ryan, because obviously you must have been limbs of the Chinese. But what were the limbs like at Stamford Bridge, Jack?
Well, I think it was hilarious because they got the ball and they just thrown it backwards, but it finally fell to some lad on the front row who decided he was going to drop kick it into the back of the crowd. Literally almost decapitated his mate. Hit it so hard into his face, and it bounced onto the pitch. To which we took a throw in, which I think more or less started the build-up play to us getting the winning goal. People around me were just saying, "I love it if we score now." And my mate Matt, he just said, he just went, "I love it if we score now." Beautiful, back of the net. Sorted. Just hugging random people. And they've got all those safe standing rails there, which is quite good.
I like the look of that.
And people were standing on top of them. I was trying to go one, but I thought about it. I thought that would be dangerous. I'm not the smallest guy. I'd probably kill someone. And so that was it. Really, it was great limbs. And then
and Ryan, talk us through the limbs of the Chinese.
Well, I didn't actually see that in the Chinese. So literally, I'll probably watch the last 20 minutes at Chloe's house because I'd say we missed the first sort of 20 minutes of the second half because the road was closed and relying on Chloe to drive us home was probably not the best idea. So when you inevitably do watch this, Chloe, I do apologise.
But can hear you from
sorry, but we got back eventually, and I did see the last 20 minutes. We did watch the first half, to be fair. So, we'll talk about the first half in a bit, but. Yeah, that goal at the end, literally, I kept saying, look, I don't think we're going to lose. I really don't. And this was 89th minute gone. She was saying, it is done with it. We're going to lose this game. I said, I don't think we will. Obviously we've seen it at Brentford, we've seen it at Palace, we've seen it at Southampton. Obviously now we've seen it at Chelsea. I thought it was going to be coming. I even put a tweet on. I thought Mopo would be the one to get it, but. Yeah. What a header! In between two defenders, managed to get up to it, rooted the goalkeeper to the spot. Who. You'd class Mendy as one of the best goalkeepers in the league, in the world. And the fact he rooted him to the spot, put it so far into the bottom corner, it was just a beautiful header. And Welbeck, you're happy for him, aren't you, with Welbeck? Because he deserves that. The horrible time he's had with injuries and he comes back. And every time he comes back, he always manages to put in a good performance. So, I was buzzing for him. And I wish I was there. And also, whoever that guy is that throws the flare in, you're a legend, mate. Because that
I've seen a few rumours on Twitter, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it live in case he gets banned. We've already know one mate of ours that got banned for throwing shoes, but I'll leave it at that.
I did meet the flare thrower after the game.
Did you?
Who will remain?
Remain. I think I know who it is. I think I do.
But I don't know how he gets launched on some of these flares. The one today. The one yesterday
I know.
Looked like it come from God or something. It just
Tom Brady
fall out the sky.
Danny, my friend Danny, said that it was like, but I didn't know Tom Brady was a Brighton fan because that arm that he has to go from top tier all the way that far, he went so far. It's a great throw. And how he smuggles it in, God knows. But sorry, staying on the goal, I think Danny Welbeck beats Trevor Chalobah for the header today, which probably pissed Tuchel off even more because obviously he had to bring Trevor on for Christensen. But obviously, let's talk about the whining Tuchel. Like for me, I used to love Thomas Tuchel. I still probably do, but you've seen the bad side for him last night. He was like a baby, like throwing his toys out the pram during that press conference. I think he's been doing it for a few weeks now. That's just such a shame. Like, I feel like it's just becoming a bit too much like Klopp, like complaining about it. We're all going through it. I don't know when the last time you played a Champions League game, so you can't really blame it on that. We've all got this fixture congestion. You've got an unbelievable squad to prove it. I saw some guys tweet saying they have 5 Ballon d'Or nominees on the pitch at one point, or something like that. You've got, like, I think, £240 million squad or something. I might be chatting.
I think it's 240 million on the bench alone.
On the bench, exactly. It's crazy, and you're still complaining about, about not having the players there. I think even Clive Townsend, who was like wearing a Chelsea shirt on commentary all night, he even said he was like, there are players on the bench and even in reserves that should be starting. I think like Sarr was one of their centre backs that could have come on, so you can't be complaining in that respect. But
to be fair to Townsend, he actually really did wrench Chelsea as well and gave credit to us because he said, look, they didn't deserve anything, because I think it was Gus Poyet he was talking to after the game, and he said they didn't do enough to win. And if they did come away with that win at the end, they'd be saying, we got away with that. Brighton really had us on ropes. And to be fair to him, said, you can't complain. You just got to get on with it. And he said, I can sympathise with the COVID situation because obviously that's impacting teams. No, this was Andy Townsend, but obviously, and he was a bit Chelsea biased, wasn't he, throughout the game? But he was actually proper saying, he sympathises with the COVID situation because obviously that's
Yeah, of
impacted
course.
clubs in a different way to ever before. You never seen players drop ill this much ever before. But then at the same time, with the injuries, with fixture congestion, you can't complain about it to the level that's being complained about. I get it to a degree. I get the point of, players, they're being stretched. But at the same time, he said, this is what you come to England for. You come here to test yourself in the biggest league in the world, the best, most watched league in the world. That's what you come here for. You challenge yourself. You know the festive period, the New Year's period is the hardest in the world, probably for football and sport in general. So that's what you're signing up for, and you can't complain about it when you get to it because that's where you prove you're the best. That's why Pep Guardiola's done it for so many years now. Klopp's even done it for so many years now.
That's why
So
you
Tuchel
have the
coming into
unbelievable
it.
amount of money to build the unbelievable
Exactly.
squads that you have, and they still do
Exactly.
have. But Jack, off there you were talking about it, but obviously just reiterate a bit more of your thoughts about Tuchel.
Well, I just think, the fact is, I think it's already been covered. He has a huge squad at his disposal. As well, going into under-23s, Trevor Chalobah, someone who's come into the squad and been really good. Give an opportunity to these players to get minutes. I thought Trevor Chalobah was very decent. Obviously losing out to Danny Welbeck for the header wasn't great. But other than that, I thought he came on and did really well. You have these squads, you have these under-23s. Give them the opportunity to get some game time.
Well, and you think about Chelsea as well. They've got one of the best talented under-23 squads in the world. I mean, we got Tariq Lamptey off them. Absolutely bossed Reece James yesterday. Absolutely bossed pretty much every game he plays anyway. And without probably us, Tariq Lamptey would never have really got a sniff in at Chelsea.
And that's what it is. I also don't understand what's the point of because they've got 25 players out on loan or something as well in terms of their squad.
Yeah,
but
loads.
if these under-23s are never going to get a game time opportunity like this, what's the point in keeping them? What's the point of hoarding all these players and then loaning
That's why
them out?
Tomori's now gone to Milan, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Lampard
exactly.
gave him his chance, and then I think he brought in. Even Lampard then brought in Thiago Silva, and then kind of ended up Tomori kind of getting.
It's not the
shafted out a
same
bit.
as Chelsea, but looking at Southampton, they've brought in Willy Caballero on a short-term deal, which is like one of those transfers where you're like, holy shit, he's playing for Southampton now. But they had an under-23s keeper on the bench. What if he's never going to get the opportunity to play first-team football? What is the point in keeping him? Because he's not.
Nice pound
if he's
there,
never going to be good enough to, and he's like 23, I think, the lad who was on the bench for Southampton. He's never going to be good enough. Just get rid of him because you clearly don't have faith in him. And I think it's the same with Chelsea. They need to have that opportunity to play their under-23s.
You touched on Tariq Lamptey there. We've probably got to speak about it. Reece James failing the Tariq Lamptey. Reece James failing the Lamptey test, didn't he? Well, I mean, he went off injured after, I think it was a tackle with Bissouma, but Lamptey had Reece James on strings. It was a good challenge, but and I think if Brighton fans were singing "You're just a shit, Tariq Lamptey," that was only like 10 minutes in as well, so that just showed how much Tariq Lamptey was tearing him apart.
Well, he did it. He did it to Sir Maximan as well, didn't he? Do you remember against Newcastle? He come off after about half an hour. So I mean, as we say, Lamptey. He's exceeded everyone's expectations. He's another level to what probably the majority of Chelsea's youth squad are going to be like. But at the same time, it goes to show, as we said earlier, about youth players. You give these boys a chance, they're going to be up for it. I mean, Lamptey would have gone back to Stamford Bridge with a point to prove yesterday, and it looked like he did. He was right on it. He was the Lamptey that we saw, in those first 3 or 4 games when he really burst onto the scene and he was sort of taking the game by the scruff of the neck. And I think I put a tweet on actually at half time just saying, Mike Dean's being Mike Dean, but at least I get to watch Tariq Lamptey play football. And that's literally I think that sums it up pretty much. You get to see Tariq Lamptey play football. He's just a joy to watch in every single aspect of his game. He's quick, he gets back well, he creates chances, he's got a good cross on him. I don't really think there's much that Lamptey lacks in terms of anything, to be honest, and equally Cucurella as well. But we'll get onto him in a bit. But he was electric yesterday.
And I'm semi glad that Lamptey was he's brought off towards the end there because we do need to just make sure he doesn't get injured again and just take care of it as much as possible. I saw people got annoyed that they took him off, and if we hadn't scored, then people probably would have said should never take a Lamptey off. But because we scored, I think Potter got away with that a bit. But sorry, go on, Jack.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the shame he had to come off, but it's obviously an injury thing because I've noticed when he does come off, he comes off bang on a certain minute. So he'll come off bang on 60, which is what he did more or less yesterday. Other games he's come off at like 75. So they're obviously trying to manage his injury. As my mate Harry, he says sports science or something, the big tall Dan Burn bloke, you can't miss him in a concourse. He was saying, he was explaining the injury and saying they're managing it really well. But it was a shame because we did start to lose some of that impetus.
We did.
When he came off.
It was like a mix between Lamptey coming off and Kante coming on,
who
which I made a note of. Yeah, as soon as he came on, Chelsea got back in the game for like 10, 15 minutes.
And they can just play the ball with him. You know, he just sort of allows everybody to push on. I mean, he's one of the best players in the world, probably. So that's the difference, really. And it shows even more how stupid it is Tuchel moaning, because he can bring on that sort of talent.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's talk about the first goal. Well, I think there are two topics we can touch on in the first half. One of them being the Lukaku header. It's so annoying, pissing me off so much when we can see from corners. It's very frustrating. But even more so when you see Neil Maupay marking Lukaku. And in my eyes, he gets hit first. That's when he should have gone down. But then when he gets elbowed the second time, Lukaku had every right to do that because he was literally like holding his waist, hugging him. But obviously Neil Maupay chose to go down the second one because that was when he actually got elbowed in the nose.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a foul at all. If Neil had gone down in for the first hit, I think it probably would have been given. But yeah, I think because he didn't, it was a fair goal really. But what do you guys think of the zonal marking? And did you think it was a foul?
Go on, Jack. You go for this one.
Well, so yeah, I thought if that was given against Brighton, I'd be pissed off. So for me, I wasn't overly upset about it. I thought Maupay was basically trying to take his shirt off as well at some point. So it was sort of like you can't say, "Oh, the elbow's the problem," and then say, "Well, he is pulling his shirt." I think, to be honest, I think that was VAR at its best this season, just sort of saying, "Let's not mess around with this. Let's just keep it as it is." In terms of the marking, I mean, obviously, I'm not a football manager as much as I'd love to be. I don't. You
go to more games than football managers go to in a week, though. That's a funny thing.
But what I don't understand is the zonal marking. I'm not a fan of it anyway. I never have been. But we're obviously doing it zonally, and you can see players like Maupay marking Lukaku, and McAllister seemed to be on him half the time as well.
Yeah.
These two players aren't going to be able to compete with him. Obviously, when he moves through the zones and he gets closer to the goal, he bumps into Dan Burn. But last night, it was sort of an obvious task for someone like Dan Burn or Duffy, if he was playing, just a man mark him at every opportunity. And then we lost at a set piece. I did notice they seemed to change it up a bit, that Burn seemed to be on Lukaku a lot more after the goal went in. So I don't know whether they changed it.
he was so tight on him, wasn't he?
But I also saw it at the same, I think it was the Brentford game. Lamptey was marking Janssen, and it's just like this is, that's under.
So I think I have the answer for you, Jack, because by the benefit, obviously, not going to the game and listening to Gus Poyet talk about it, he said so. It was zonal marking. So you have all the big guys in the zones that are threatening, and then you have the smaller guys that are just there to block the run. But obviously, then if Neil Maupay fails to block Lukaku's run, which is going to happen because of the height difference and the weight difference, and the strength difference. He's good at steamrolling him and getting into a good opportunity. So he said zonal marking works, but you have to have the right people and the right players on the outside. But we have so many small players that it's just not. We can't do it really.
To be fair, though,
not really.
I think with, for example, Lamptey marking Janssen and the really big fella for Wolves. I mean, we didn't concede against Brentford, so I'm being very nitpicky here and complaining about something that didn't really matter. But I can't think who the big fella is. Saiz, I think it is Saiz.
Romain Saiz, yeah.
He's blocking him. But Lamptey works a lot better at it. I suppose it's a different side of zonal marking, in that he does block the run, and he's so quick and he's got a leap on him, that he actually managed to stop Saiz really attacking the ball directly from a corner. He did score, so that also deconstructs that point. But and the same with Janssen. But I think some of the players like Maupay and McAllister, great players, but I don't know whether in that defence. But once again, Potter obviously knows a lot more than I do. So
no, we never say it at the podcast. We know more, mate. That's why we do it.
We know everything. That's what we're doing it for. We all want to be football players.
We get paid to do.
But I think he has been on record saying he does a mixture of man marking and zonal. But I think sometimes, this season we've conceded too many from set pieces, which seem to come from the issues of zonal marking. But we'll see.
I'm not a fan of it.
I think as well that because we only watch Brighton, we only see them concede from set pieces. That I'm sure if you look at the stats, we're nowhere near the worst team at conceding. I think
we were last season. I don't think we are anymore.
I think Leeds are terrible at it. I think they're bottom of the league by far and away on terms of goals conceded by from set pieces. So there's
I think our trouble with set pieces as you say, one, we don't have the players for it. Simple as that. As you say, putting McAllister or Mopé on it, it's never going to work, especially against Lukaku. I can't emphasise that enough. Lukaku.
He's Lukaku.
Where's the logic in that? I mean, we've got a literal powerhouse in finishing, in goal scoring, and everything. Of being a striker, Lukaku is it. You don't let him have that sort of room. I did watch it back a lot, that goal, because I was just nitpicking that defence so much, because I was just thinking, how on earth has he been able to get through that so easily? And I still can't work out for the life of me what we were actually trying to do to stop that goal from going in, because I think he was in between Moder and Veltman as well as he got towards it. And I don't understand, because Moder had already, I think, 2 players around him as well. And Veltman was obviously worried about someone behind him. Mopé had already lost him and he was on the floor. So by that point, who's actually going to stop Lukaku from scoring? I mean, no one, really. I really, really, really don't understand why we do that. And I think we've been talking about this, and it's funny we mention it, because I was actually looking through the old podcast this morning, and we were literally talking about zonal marking. I think it was even one of our podcast titles, and we were moaning about it then, and that was all the way back in January at the beginning of the year, and yet here we are nearly in January 2022 talking about the exact same stuff as why do we try and do zonal marking, particularly against players and teams as good as Lukaku and Chelsea. I don't know. I think there needs to be a way of, we always talked about Potter's plan B. Surely there's got to be a plan B defensively, because, as you say, stats-wise, maybe we're not the worst this season. I actually don't know that. But definitely last season, we were down there with one of the worst. I think, as you say, Leeds were down there. We were right down there. I think we were bottom 2, bottom 3, worst in the league defensively from set pieces. Why do we bother? What do we do it for? I don't understand it for the life of me.
Yeah, well, at least what we can say, looking on the bright side, is we are improving, because we're not at the bottom.
And I think
all the other teams have got worse. I don't know.
Mid-game, it seemed to change something, like maybe Burn had been told to stick on him, and Burn was fantastic last night.
We can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll move on to Burn. Yeah,
unsung hero.
Outside of set piece situations, just on the pitch, I don't know how Lukaku got man of the match on Amazon Prime.
Did they change it? Because I think he was like
did they change
basically
it?
he said that was literally just before we'd scored, I think, wasn't it? Maybe.
Okay.
I think they fan voted as well, didn't they? Or is that the Premier League app? I don't even know.
Because I think
Premier League
the commentator was like, Lukaku man of the match, and then he was saying but then they had the highlight on thing saying Lukaku man of the match, and then he never actually changed it, because he was saying Bissouma should have got it as well. So
yeah, I thought he was very good. Bissouma.
He was all over the place.
My man of the match, nobody else agreed with, which was Cucurella. I just thought
he was quality again. Yeah,
he saved us multiple times in that game, especially when Kante came on. They did start to attack a bit, but Dan Burn was just like he was taking nothing from him. We're doing very well at the second balls as well.
What I've really got from Dan Burn, and probably in the last few weeks, he's so composed now, and we would not have said that last season. Everyone last season. I'm not calling out Dan Burn, because I understand he's playing in the wrong position. He's playing left wing back against Adama Traore. It was a mismatch, but overall, I think he always looked like he had a mistake in him. He always looked a bit clumsy, a bit scared of having the ball to his feet. I know that's going to be a confidence thing, but this season he's just been so colossal, and he looks so composed, and he never really looks like he's going to cause a problem. And that's without Lewis Dunk or Adam Webster next to him. And I think it's got to be credit to him, really, for picking himself back up. And as I said I think it was probably about 2 or 3 podcasts ago now, it's credit to Potter, and he's had a whole career at Brighton now of proving people wrong. And me included. I'm not saying anything. I can't go and say, I'm saying this and that, and I wasn't guilty of it too. He's proven everyone wrong with Solly March, left wing back last season, with Dan Burn overall as a footballer. I don't even know. Leandro Trossard this season, another one he's proved
Pascal
wrong. Him
Gross,
himself.
Pascal Gross. At the end of Hughton era, everyone was like, Pascal out, he's finished, but he's had an unbelievable.
And I was one of those people. I put the tweet on last August saying I think Pascal Gross has passed it. Look at him now. Well, not so much now, but look at him for the past year. And again, it's another case of Graham Potter seeming to get the best out of these players that perhaps fans write off a bit too quickly. Neil Maupay, another one, particularly in the last few weeks. Maupay, I think he's really won the hearts over of Brighton fans. Probably his away goals already.
And now he's finally got a song that people sing consistently, and that makes me sad. He's finally got a song.
But little things like that just get that sort of connection back to the players. I mean, we always look back on. We've said it a lot on here. We always look back on the Championship days as the time where we really had like that close fan to player connection, fan to club connection was like probably at its strongest. this season we had a bit of a dip down, but now we've seemed to get a bit more chance out, and I think chance are a big thing towards sort of. But that's helped
100%.
That's definitely been helped by these last gasp away days. I mean, we've probably had some of the best away days this season I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think probably since
we've been
I don't even know when.
Statistically, we've been the best away from home. We haven't. I don't think we've only lost
Exactly.
one away from home. I think it was like 6 draws and two wins. Yeah, that's the best in the league. So that's an incredible stat to have.
And to be honest,
that's where that connection's coming from.
It's the hyper turquoise kit. I think we played in our home kit against West Ham.
And to be honest, we should have drawn against Villa. That was a 0-0. That's the only game we lost. It was a 0-0 game, and they took 2 chances at the end of the match.
Yeah,
so
frustrating. Back onto the match quickly though. The only other thing that really happened in the second half, apart from their goal, we had loads of chances after that. I don't think they had a chance after their goal, the commentator said, until literally like when Kante came on. Something like that, which is nuts. We dominated so much. But the big talking point from the first half was the Rudiger. And Ryan, I think you were pretty, you sounded pretty concerned on Twitter about Lamptey. You're just glad that he was okay. Did you think it was a red card, or would you think yellow was fair?
See, I was in a Chinese at this point, and I wasn't sure at first. At first, I said, "My God, that's a yellow card at least." But then when I watched it back, it looked like he flew in 2-footed. I mean, I don't think he had any part of his body on the ground when he went into that challenge. And by the letter of the law, as far as I'm concerned, that's a red card, right? And I'm pretty sure if that was the other way round and Lamptey went in flying off the ground and against Rudiger, he would have made more of a meal of it as well.
Didn't Hollybass get sent off against Brighton on away, like when we beat them 3-0? Was it only like
no, that was a 0-0 draw.
Was that a 0-0?
Stato's here, don't worry.
Yeah, Stato's here. I was close.
Yeah, you got the knowledge in there. Jeez.
Yeah, no, it's a 0-0 draw, but he actually made contact with Knockhart's leg, and to be honest, it's a surprise that he didn't break his leg, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's
so. But I don't know. I would have said it's probably borders a red, but I'd say it's probably more on the red side, if I'm honest, because he was off the ground, and people were saying, people were really kicking off on Twitter about it. I wouldn't say it was probably as stonewall as people were making out, but at the same time, I do think it was probably on the red side than the yellow, just because he was out of control of his body. I don't think he was ever going to get.
I'm not saying Lamptey was wrong for this, because he's just really honest. If he had made a massive deal out of it, like 9 times out of 10 of the Premier League players would have, if he had been screaming, holding his knee, then it could have potentially been changed to red. But because he's very honest when he goes down, even when he got kicked by Mbuemo in the head against Brentford,
he gets up, doesn't he?
He gets up and he's fine. He's like, yeah, cool, no worries. But if he was any other player, like, he'll be making a big deal out of it, and it could potentially, you could argue that it might have been a red in that case. But Jack,
what do you think?
Your thoughts on?
Well, I'm a bit of a old school football purist. Yeah. So for me, if he doesn't make contact, I don't always think it's a red card. I think you're right though. Looking back at it, at the time, because it was up the other end of the pitch, the away stand, it just looked like a coming together. Really, it was definitely a foul for sure, and probably a yellow because he just took him out, but. It didn't really look like, you couldn't really see sort of the 2-footed, but watching like the slow-mo replay, he is 2-footed, he is flying off the ground. I think that's the difference, because obviously I watch a lot of county league football, the best league in the world. I don't think that would be given at that level, but then you look at the Premier League and you would. I think what we just needed a bit of consistency, because I've seen reds given for that. Even reds given to our players for something maybe as soft as that.
Even less than that, to be honest.
Yeah, for less than that. And I do think you're probably right in that change the situation round, and that could have been a red card for Lamptey. I think that's all I want to see with referees in the Premier League. Obviously, you can't compare refereeing a game which is like in a park, in a quagmire of mud, to the Premier League. Because it's completely different games. But I just want some consistency with what's given. I don't like Mike Dean. I think he's a shit ref. He seems like a nice bloke though. Like when he's on podcasts and stuff. Like
he seemed alright on that.
He seems like an alright guy, but
he just loves having banter with the players on the pitch. Whenever you see him, he's always chatting to like a physio or a player, like having like smirking and laughing.
I don't understand his positioning. That was the weirdest thing. He kept on like running into the ball almost. He's a very strange referee.
He likes to make it about him, isn't he? That's the trouble with Mike Dean. It's always the Mike Dean show.
Yeah.
So he'll just he would call a big decision that's really controversial just so that he's the headline for the next morning. But I think on this case, there was a few last night, and not just red card offences, but there was a few things that are either being let go of or a bit too harsh. I thought yesterday. I thought, Mike Dean just had a bit of a mare, and he just wants to make it about him. But I think last night it's just another one of those cases. Really, I mean, you look back on. Do you remember? I always go back to it with Mike Dean. The Stale Stevens with Gaston Moreira's. That's
we're not bitter about that, though, are we? We're not bitter.
Not bitter about it.
I'm kind of glad we didn't, because I think we would have gone down straight away. I feel like our team wasn't ready at that point.
Mike Dean's the best thing to ever happen to this club.
Yeah. So we owe a lot to Mike Dean. Otherwise, we would probably be doing a derby right now, battling for survival. But to be fair to Mike Dean, he got one thing wrong, in my opinion, and that was the Pulisic penalty incident where they thought Chelsea fans screaming for a penalty. I think he got it absolutely right. The ball was behind Pulisic, and he kind of ran into Veltman, and Veltman made contact with him, but the ball had already gone behind him.
I don't think it was a pen.
He's already going down. No, not a pen at all.
I can
see why Chelsea fans would, because it's been given. You see,
the thing is, it had already gone.
Any contact. So yeah.
I'm going to give you a great opinion on this one. Is that I have no recollection of this whatsoever.
Oh, really?
I don't even know what they're talking about. So maybe that even means it's less of a penalty.
Well,
I can think of
been more on Twitter to this morning, I think.
3 incidents up that end, and I can't think of a single one which was a penalty.
That's why I love going to games. That's why I love going to games.
Just like,
because you don't overanalyse, you don't overthink, and you just think, it's gone now. And that's it.
I don't remember that. So in my mind, not a penalty. Because I don't remember. I remember Pulisic being pretty crap, to be honest.
Yeah, he was naff.
I just want, while we're on Chelsea players, I thought I'd give a shout out to the actual Brighton man of the match, which was Hudson-Odoi. For Brighton.
I've seen a lot about this. I must have missed this. Was he rubbish or something?
He was so bad. Like, just seemed to lose the ball every time. Every time he seemed to drive forward. He seemed to be playing like all over the place as well. I think he started
at left wing back at one point.
Yeah, he started at left wing back, and he was just like. He was all over the place. I didn't even understand what he was trying to do half the time.
Well, he's not a left wing back, that's the thing, and that's down to Tuchel playing him there. But
now, what I want to say quick, while we're on Hudson-Odoi and penalty situations, I don't know if I should show it on this because I don't really want to get copyrighted.
No, we'll be right.
You know the chance where Hudson-Odoi went through and he should have played it sooner across to, I think it was Mason Mount on the other side, but it hit Veltman. I thought it hit Veltman's leg, and that was it. And I've watched it back a few times, and but then I watched it from this angle. It literally hits Veltman's arm. How we got away with that? I really don't know.
I've missed this as well.
Look, if you can see it,
maybe turn down.
Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
It literally hits his arm.
Get off the screen quickly before we get copyright.
He's basically controlled it with his arm. He's put his arm down. Yeah. And he's controlled it. I really don't know how he got away with that.
Was his arm really attached to his body though? Was his arm like...
His arm is by his side?
It was down like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but he's obviously used
Or is it further out? Is it like that?
It looked like it was further out, if I'm being honest. It looked like he put his arm down to control the ball, if I'm honest.
Well, they missed that one, didn't they?
But that would be interesting.
I must admit.
Because surely was that not offside, actually?
No, I didn't. No, I don't think it was, because Hudson-Odoi come from his own half, didn't he?
Yeah.
But
that was another opportunity where Hudson-Odoi was terrible, because if he plays the right ball there, he puts in Mason Mount and they win 2-0. So, or 2-1 probably. Right. We would have got one back, I think.
I think we got to talk about the best player on the pitch. So my friend Brett, that you know, Jack, as well. Yeah. This is like the 55th minute. He was like, Bissouma's the best player on the pitch, and it was weird because he was right. Like, we were playing Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and the best player on the pitch was Yves Bissouma, a Brighton player.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
He bossed that midfield. That picture of him like having like it was like Kovacic, Jorginho, and someone else in a headlock, mate. That was perfect. Summed it up brilliantly. He ran the show last night. Yeah, he was so
fantastic. Good. Yeah, no,
so good.
He was brilliant. Like every time the ball went into midfield, he was getting the ball, driving forward. I think I forget sometimes how quick he is. Or how sort of... He's almost not quick, he's almost effortlessly quick. That he just sort of glides...
When he does that little... Where he like will run forward and then the player will be in front of him and then he literally just like a loop-to-loop and then leaves him back there. He does that so much. And Lamptey started doing that as well, but he just does that all the time and players fall for it.
Yeah, for sure.
We need to call it like that Bissouma spin or something like that.
He's really skillful. He's very, very skillful. So it doesn't take a lot for him to beat a player. And as you say, Lamptey does the exact same thing. It seems to be something that, because as you say, a bit of pace. All you've got to do is body feint, and that's it. You can get away from the situation. Lallana's different class in that because I see a lot of people slate Lallana.
I
Even
do,
last
yeah.
night, people were slate. I really don't understand
see
it.
it.
I don't get it. And whenever I watch him, I think he's so classy.
His shooting
And while we're on
ability.
Yeah,
You can't.
Yeah, maybe not that.
He's a terrible
maybe not
finisher.
that.
What
Yeah,
he is doing
so
in finishing
good.
training, I don't know. Someone needs to teach him how
He
to
doesn't
shoot.
turn up for finishing training, mate.
Everything else, 10 out
He's
of
running the
10.
golf course of Jason Steele at that point. He doesn't
Yeah.
do finishing training.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. But what I was going to say about Lallana, just quick. I can't remember who it was against, but it was a situation where it looks like he should never be able to get the ball and get out of that situation. But I think he had like 2 players on him. Just knocks it onto the back of his heel and then just spins out of the situation. And that's something that seems to be that our midfielders do now. And maybe it's something that they've practiced, and because I think Moda's even started trying to do it. It's just something that they try and do, spin out of situations because it works. We've got plenty of skill in amongst our squad. And as you say, Bissouma, he definitely ran the show last night. He was at his best, to say the least. I think it's probably the best since he was out of the squad a few weeks ago.
No, definitely. We will miss him if he goes in the summer. Jack, do you reckon he will finally go in the summer?
I don't know.
Even in January. Even in Jan.
I don't think he'll go in January.
Because of the Africa Cup of Nations.
Yeah, and apparently he won't take that call up because he fell out with the manager. Apparently he wants to do something. If he doesn't play for Mali I saw this on Twitter, so it could just be made up crap. But apparently if he doesn't play for Mali for 4 years, he can change nationality. I don't know how.
Who does he want to change to then?
To Ivory Coast, where he actually was born. Weirdly.
Oh, that would be good for him. To be fair.
So I think he's fallen out.
Him and Zaha on the same team.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Oh yeah, true.
I think he's fallen out as a manager. So, and he gets quite annoyed that the manager keeps on calling him up, even though he's got no interest of playing.
Yeah, he hasn't really made appearances for them.
I don't really understand what it's all about, to be honest. Like he just keeps on calling him up. So, I don't think he'll go. So.
That'll be a blessing for us if he does.
Yeah,
but then that might mean if he doesn't, then people will be picking at him for Jan. I've heard so many rumours about Liverpool before the whole Bissouma thing happened a few months ago. There was like pretty much a conversation that was happening between Brighton and Liverpool about signing him. And I think what happened, obviously, that night, we still haven't heard the results from it. Apparently, that's kind of called off the deal now. But he was meant to be going to Liverpool in Jan. There was the rumour. So
I think end of the season for sure somebody will get him. I think January, I really can't see us selling in January. I really can't see it.
The only reason I'd be more edged towards it now is I wouldn't be surprised if we did let him go, just because since he's been out of the side for probably 2 months, we showed that we can survive it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be worse off, but we can handle him.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that's the reason why I think we could get rid of him. If the right bid, 50 million or something comes in, I think we'll accept. But at the same time, you don't want him to. He's by far the best player skill wise we've got. But I think, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be more inclined to say he would go now than I probably would have been at the beginning of the season, just because he was so vital at the beginning of the season. Whereas we've been able to sort of adapt without him since. Mwepu obviously got signed, Lallana, Moda. I think we are okay without him.
It's interesting though because a lot was made that we weren't winning games as soon as he went out the side because obviously I think the last game he played before he went out the side was Leicester, and then we didn't win until Boxing Day. It's interesting that actually the first win came about without Bissouma against Brentford.
And it's also funny that the first win actually came about with Welbeck back. And again last night Welbeck comes into the side, salvages a point. And I put a tweet on this morning. It's undeniable that he makes our attack so much better, Danny Welbeck. So much better.
He's so quick as well. I forget.
He's very quick.
I forget how quick he is.
Yeah, considering he's been riddled with injuries his whole career, he's actually got quite a bit of pace to him. But Danny Welbeck is, honestly, I don't understand the people that give him stick. Apart from the injury-wise, he is genuinely a very, very good player. He's got the talent and experience to make our attack so much better. And Neil Maupay does it himself anyway. But when them two are playing together and they're both fit and firing, they're very, very good. And genuinely, last night, Danny Welbeck comes onto the pitch and again helps us out. I think since he's joined Brighton, he's had his best goal scoring run or something like that since he was at Arsenal, since he was at Man United.
I think one of those since two. Man United because he got 20 in a season.
Since Man United, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think at United he got 20 in a season. So I'd imagine it's since then because he never really scored for Arsenal that much.
No, he didn't, did he? And he got injured a lot at Arsenal. That's where he sort of made a bit of a meme of himself.
Yeah.
Whereas that almost seems to be a thing in itself. People go to Arsenal and make a meme of themselves. That just seems to be how it works. But, you go back to his United days where he last played his best football under Sir Alex. Comes to Brighton. He's obviously been to Watford and Arsenal in between that. Comes to Brighton, plays under Potter, and he's playing his best football since he was under Alex Ferguson. I mean, if that doesn't say a lot about Brighton and Graham Potter, I don't really know what does.
But people don't understand. He scored at the Bernabeu. Right, it's unbelievable. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And we've got him. But I don't know if there's any more points to touch on the game, really. We talked about Tuchel complaining, and the Welbeck props, Dan Burn props, Bissouma props, Potter props, away limbs props. So many props.
Oh, I want to do a McAllister one because I really like McAllister.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I've become obsessed with McAllister. I got a McAllister shirt as well for Christmas. So,
have you?
Yeah.
Love that.
Actually, funny one. I went into the club shop in town and went and got a Dan Burn shirt on the away shirt. And they said you're the first person to ever come into this shop and ask for a Dan Burn shirt.
That's the best quote of this whole podcast.
I'm sorry. They should have given you that for free.
That
should have been free.
You should have got Dan Burn to do the pressing for me.
That's so funny.
That's actually the third time that's happened to me. I got that red away shirt the year we went up with Sidwell on the back, and they said you're the first person to buy a Sidwell. Or I think they didn't say you're the first person. They said, "Oh, I've never done a Sidwell one," and someone said I've never done a Bong one as well. So
I'm surprised at the Bong one. I'm surprised
I know. It's just funny, isn't it? His name's Bong. Yeah. What's not to enjoy there? But no, McAllister. I thought every time we play well attacking, he's part of it. He's part of the side. He's obviously he can't, and he was an obvious person to come off when Welbeck came on because he's a bit of a luxury player in that he doesn't really offer that much defensively. That's not a bad thing. I thought he did fine, but I just think he's really coming on, and hopefully he gets a good run of games after the new year because I really rate him, and I think he could be a real gem, especially if we are a lot less defensive in games against people like Brentford. God, I'm saying a teams like Brentford thing there. I mean, no offence.
Yeah,
there.
You are.
But the teams where we can be more on the front foot. Basically anybody outside the top six. Other than you looking at City, you can't play in there because he did do well there last season, but. And I think he should be a good one for the new year. I think really.
He's got a very good way of just creating space for himself, and he makes it look very. And that's a sign of a world class talented player. I'm not saying he is a world class talented player. I'm just saying it's a sign of one. But it is something that Jack Grealish I really really liked in him and Kevin De Bruyne as well. Two players that can just create space out of nothing. They can just roam around the pitch. They don't necessarily have to run around and be the most lively player on the pitch, but they just sort of walk around, they stroll around, make their own space, and then create a chance. And that's what McAllister has. He gets the ball, he creates a bit of space, drops a shoulder, and then there's a chance on. And I think with Welbeck in the side, a bit more pace up front, Trossard as well, that's where our attack can really be helped because, we're talking two players there in Welbeck and McAllister who haven't really been able to play too much this season. Yeah. When they do, they are, as I say, undeniably two of our best attacking players that we have at the club. And I agree. I think 2022 is going to be the year that McAllister really, hopefully, gets a bit of a break.
Well, it's been coming. It's been every year.
It's been coming. It's definitely been coming. It really has. But but I said on the last podcast, it seems like he's got more sort of attributes to his game now. Whereas when we first signed him, it was quite like a bit of a flary South American. Yeah. Now he seems to be able to track back a little bit more, put in some challenges.
He's very good at
adapt
pressure
to the English game as well.
He's very good, off the ball, chasing players around. Like he wants to win it back and then start making space for himself.
Exactly, and that's their big attributes in the English game. So it seems like he's really coming on now. Hopefully next year's the year he really gets to break out.
Well, let's talk about Everton because hopefully he'll be playing against Everton and hopefully Danny Welbeck will be playing. That would be good to see them both starting again. But I'll probably start on the Everton one. I'm pretty confident. I think they're pretty out of form. They're shouting at their manager. I think against Palace when they lost 3-1, they were saying just a fat Spanish waiter, all that, the classics. And then even it must be a Crystal Palace thing because then even the Norwich fans were chanting at Billy Gilmore, telling him to F off back to Chelsea, which outrageous. But we won't get onto that because that'll take ages for ranting about that. But I'm quite confident about Everton. Like I said, they're a pretty poor run of form. Only got that result against Arsenal, but since then I'm looking at their recent results. last win they got. Oh my god, this actually keeps going. Oh my god, I think September 25th against Norwich.
Was that their last win?
Really?
I'm looking. Yeah. No, sorry.
Wow.
Other than Arsenal, my bad. Other than Arsenal on the 6th of
okay.
December. Yeah. So 2 wins since the 25th of September, which is nuts. That's almost Brighton Hove Albion
That's
format.
crazy.
So yeah, on that note, I'm confident. How are you boys feeling? Jack, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to be one of about 10 in the away end.
10 people, yeah.
I don't think we sold many tickets, but that is because of just the situation of the world at the moment. I don't think people want to commit to like train.
I think they released the tickets, didn't they? Like in between Man United and in such short space of time, and people just.
It's also, once again, we've been screwed over by the TV. We've got a shit time. We've got the 2:00 Sunday kickoff, which is bad. And but yeah, I think it's a team that we never seem to beat though away.
Yeah, especially Goodison.
I can't. I think I can only since we've come up, I can only remember one goal we scored there. Which
Mope, wasn't it?
No,
Bissouma's volley.
Oh no, yeah, I forgot about that last season.
That was like 4-2, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, Dunk also scored up there from a header in the second Houghton season.
Yeah.
He also got sent off that game, I think. But
we used to struggle because it was Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, I remember that one where Dunk scored when he got sent off. I didn't understand why I was getting sent off because I was 5 minutes late into the ground. And he got booked in the first 5 minutes and then got the second yellow. And I was like, why is he walking off the pitch? But yeah, I don't know. It's somewhere we struggle to go to for some reason.
Yeah. But that's the past.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
It
doesn't really matter.
Chelsea, that was our first ever goal against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
Stamford Bridge, yeah.
We have scored at Stamford Bridge before, but in the 1910 Community Shield.
That's knowledge right there.
Yeah.
But also, it's the first win we got on Boxing Day in 11 months,
exactly.
I think. So, because obviously we haven't played on Boxing Day. Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't remember that exactly. I know it was 2005. I think I remember it was 2000. Bloody hell. I need to get to life. It was 2005. It was a 1-0 win against QPR.
Look at that.
Ian Holloway was manager for QPR, and he wasn't very happy about that. That's astounded me that I knew that. But yeah, we are breaking records at the moment. So records are there to be broken, and that's what I always think. As much as like last night, my friends were saying, "Oh, we've never even scored here," and I'm saying, "Yeah, but they are there to be broken." And then I just decided not to mention it for the whole game. So, if you just think about it. You don't
want to jinx it. You say it out loud.
As soon as I read a stat from the Premier League or something, or that we've been unbeaten in 5 games, I just think, oh, for God's sake, why did I have to read that? Because
exactly.
You just think then you're gonna lose. But I know it means absolutely nothing.
No.
But yeah, go on, Ben. You want to say something?
Well, I was going to say, hope we're doing this preview about the game, but hopefully it'll be on because I think their game against Newcastle's been postponed.
But it's Newcastle. I saw that. Newcastle are the problem with that game.
Newcastle are the coach. With a bit more hope.
But that's another thing that I'm annoyed about. Here we go. That they're calling off the game for COVID and injuries.
Yeah, that's stupid. I agree.
I just read that.
It's so stupid.
Because St Maximan and Wilson get injured. Oh, that's a surprise. They call off the game when their 2 best players get injured.
I'll probably get cancelled for this, but that's that new money that they've got just given to the
and when they play Everton, they could have spent millions by the time they play Everton again. So for me, I don't agree with that a lot. But
no,
that's a good point. Actually,
I get the COVID thing. I agree with what Townsend said last night. The COVID thing, sympathise with clubs on that because obviously it's out of the blue. People don't really know how to react to it. It's all very new still, even though it's been going on 2 years. It's still very new. But with injuries, you got to play through it. That's what you're there for. You're there to struggle through the injuries of festive period and the hectic schedule that is. We've already ranted about it. I'm not going to go on to it again. But yeah, I agree. It's ridiculous. But just before I talk about... in fact, I'll talk about Everton first. I'll mention that after.
Yeah, get Everton,
get Everton sorted. So, Everton-wise, let's think. I'm thinking back to Everton. We got beaten 2-0 at home, didn't we? Back in August. So, they really beat us in that game.
Yeah, that was when I think that was when they were at their peak, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like top of the league, saying they're going to win the league and stuff. Damari Gray was firing.
Yeah.
Rafa Benitez's song was being sung for probably the only month in his Everton career.
Yeah.
So, I must admit, I think we should be okay based on now, but you still have that in the back of your head that we do struggle against Everton always. And Rafa seems to have it in to beat us as well. He always, Newcastle always seem to get one over us as well. So he's a world-class manager on his day. But as I say, records are there to be broken. Past the past, and I'm going to say 1-0. And I think it's going to be Neil Maupay. I'm going to say a 1-0 win. He's going to steal it again, and we're going to take one away.
We're going to draw 1-1, and they're going to score early. And then we're going to score a last-minute goal. Just
we'll dominate.
If we do that for the rest of the season, I couldn't give a shit. If we stay up and finish 17th and just drawing 1-1 every single away game to the end of the season with last-minute goals,
but that suits us because it's enjoyment, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's enjoyment.
I'm aiming for the top half of the table now. I think that's the motivation there, isn't it? And then for me, score prediction-wise, I'm confident. Form-wise, they're out of form. We're looking bang up for it. I reckon 2-0 Brighton. I'm feeling it. Yeah.
Okay.
A solid defensive display again.
Yeah, I hope
obviously,
right,
if we don't concede from a set piece, but I think
as long as March isn't marking like Richarlison or something. March, what? As long as Maupay isn't marking Richarlison, then we should be all right.
Yeah.
Just no more zonal marking, and we should be okay. But what I want to talk about just before we sign off the pod, because obviously this is going to be the last podcast of 2021.
Oh yeah.
Yes, this is going to be the last podcast of 2021. So I actually looked back on our last podcast of 2020 saying, and I think it was with Joel Bayer, and we were saying, I think it's hopefully 2021 can be a better year. And it definitely has been a better year by a mile. Absolutely better than last year. So here's some stats thanks to our boy Liam Thom on Albion Analytics.
Get your pen and paper, Jack.
Yeah, I've got to write these ones down.
Of Brighton in the Premier League in 2021, 40 games played, won 12, draw 15, and lost 12, which is pretty good going, really, as a club like Brighton. 39 goals scored and 39 conceded. Whether you take that as a positive in terms of goals conceded, 39 was not even a goal a game, which is very impressive by our standards. Really, really improved defensively. No mistaking since.
And it makes sense though. 39 goals scored and 39 conceded. That's literally the draw specialist.
All things balanced. That's a
draw.
Yeah, exactly. But Robert Sanchez is definitely one to take here because, as I say, 39 conceded, 15 clean sheets in that. But 39 goals scored, so there's obviously a lot of room for improvement in front of goal. But form worth almost 50 points over a full season. So it's very good. It's very, very good considering, last season we were talking about, expected goals.
Not
we were saying,
good.
We were leaky. We were looking a bit like we were struggling. Potable, it was a bit of a question mark at the time. It was actually a very divided topic this time last year. There was a Potter out brigade, and they had a reasonable reason to say.
It was just after the
23 games.
Arsenal game.
We'll get Joel Bayer.
Joel Bayer. To be fair, I think that's the only game where I've been like, what the fuck is Potter doing? Literally.
We played a League Cup 11, didn't we? I remember we played like a League Cup 11. We were like, I would expect this against Portsmouth.
Yes.
Jahambas was up front on his own.
Yeah.
I think McAllister was like on the wing, and it was just like all over the place. And I think even the defence was all. I think Dunk was suspended, to be fair.
Yeah.
But no, maybe he wasn't actually. I think he played, but it was just chaos that game. I remember just thinking, I didn't want him out, but I remember also thinking we need to back him in January, or what's the point of him staying? Because I remember thinking either he's a better manager than what the tools are being given to him, and weirdly we didn't actually really back him with transfers in January. We didn't bring anyone in, did we? Except for Moda back from loan. So
I think and hope that this January is going to be a bit of a better one. Just purely because we sort of have to. I mean, I saw a article. I can't remember who it was now. I would normally give credit, so I don't actually remember who did it. But it was about Graham Potter, and I'm pretty sure he said that. I don't know if he said it. This could be complete clickbait. If it's clickbait, I'm sorry. But he so called said that due to COVID, they're looking to try and get some more players in, which. Makes sense. But does that mean we're going to be going for bodies as opposed to quality?
Yeah.
Or, are we looking for 2 or 3 players that are actually going to bolster the side? Or are we just looking purely on
I reckon we're good
numbers?
for bodies, though. I reckon we're good for bodies. You might
I-
argue that we've got
sideline,
Ferguson
really,
and
but-
Turns on the bench, but the only concern, again, I've said it every single podcast since we started, since episode 1, we've now only got Welbeck and Mopé because Connolly's currently still probably driving up to Middlesbrough on his long drive up there.
He's just been on the
We've
lash
only
in
got two
Newcastle last
strikers.
night, just before he goes up.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, quick pit stop. No, I'm sorry, Connor. I really hope you smash it in Middlesbrough for our sake as well. I just think,
insanity.
we're going to be so insanity. I think we're going to be so screwed if we just have Welbeck and Mopé.
Yeah,
I know if they
I agree.
if they both stay fit, then fine. But
Which, can I
realistically,
just say,
they're
by
not.
the way, we're not saying that Mopé or Welbeck are bad players. We are
No.
purely just saying, on the basis that Welbeck's injured a lot, and that's not an unreasonable thing to say. And Mopé, although he's a good player, on his own, he is better with a partner. It is very, very, very clear to see.
and Evan
You put Welbeck
Ferguson's
on the pitch,
16,
he's way
17
better.
years old.
Yeah.
That you could. Which
Yeah, you can't be
obviously
relying on a kid.
We said that we wanted to see him when we played. Who was it? When we played Wolves, we should have brought him on because we didn't have Welbeck available. But that's because we didn't have Welbeck available.
Exactly. And Ferguson
yeah.
finished his GCSEs during a global pandemic. Like, we can't be having him to be relying on, you know. I agree.
I think-
Hopefully.
Yeah, I was just
Go on,
going to
Jack.
say, I think, in terms of bodies, where you say we've got enough bodies, I think we've got enough bodies everywhere else on the pitch except up front because we only have two strikers. I wouldn't be against bringing in someone from who maybe, because I don't think we necessarily
Don't
need
say
that.
Dominic Solanke.
No, well, I stand by.
Solanke.
He's also got a great song, so.
Does he? What is it?
It's to
What's
I
his
think
song?
I can't remember the song. I think someone said it's Disturbia by Rihanna, but it's like dee dom Solanke. When I went to when I went to Fulham Bournemouth the other week,
Oh, for God's sake.
it sounded so good. But I do think
dom Solanke.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I like that. I like
it's
that.
good. It's good.
Yeah,
Sign him
that's
up.
actually great.
Yeah,
Yeah, get him now.
But I think we just need
Get him in.
a striker to replace Connolly. Whatever Connolly did, he did something. That we just need someone, not necessarily that silver bullet, sort of like a Diaz or something. I'd like Diaz, to be fair. Even Solanke's scored 20 goals anyway before everybody starts taking a piss.
Yeah, no,
on
he
him
is having a
or
good
something.
season.
Jack,
He's having a good
what's your
season.
take on Eddie Nketiah, mate? That's
Oh,
what I
Eddie Nketiah, because I went to Arsenal Sunderland in the
Yes,
stadium.
you went to under 23s as well, didn't you, Arsenal?
Yeah, I did. I went
Because you
to.
said, "Am I going?" And I couldn't make it.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember.
that was like back in October, I think. I've been.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I think that was game number 83 of the season or something ridiculous like that. And I only got those tickets were a tenner. I got it from my boss, who's a Arsenal fan, and he said everybo's got COVID, so you can go. And I was like one of about 20 people in the stadium. It was emptier than ours, but Nketiah is good, but it was League One Sunderland.
That's what I
It's a
said.
great
Yeah.
hat trick, but I don't know. I'm still not 100% sure what he would bring over Connolly. I think he would bring more than Connolly to the party. But I can't see him because he scored something like 5 league goals in the last 2 years or something, which is exactly the same as a certain Mr. Connolly. So
Minutes wise, though, it'd be interesting to see minutes.
yeah, I wouldn't mind him, but I think that's probably a lot different. I wouldn't mind somebody. I'm trying to think of the options. I would just take someone from abroad who I think I think we just need to take a risk on someone. We need to look at someone in like the sort of.
But then the trouble with doing that is you get someone, no disrespect to Zakiri, but you get someone like Zakiri,
Yeah,
who I quite liked.
I would
liked
bring
his attitude as
Zakiri
well.
back if it was my decision. I'd
Yeah.
bring Zakiri back.
Yeah.
I
liked him, and I liked his attitude as well. He was always looking up for it, and I like that. I like
Yeah.
to see people. If you've got the attitude, it'll instantly get the fans on your side. Unlike a certain one that we're loaning out to Middlesbrough. Sorry, but you take that risk on Zakiri again from the 4th, Norwegian tier. But then, realistically, are you really going to have fans satisfied? Probably not.
I think-
and the only options in England is, as I say, Nketiah or even Brereton Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz would be Diaz would be the dude.
Know.
But then he's only a one-season wonder. Like he's only
That's
scored
the trouble
20
too.
for the first time ever this season, and I don't think Blackburn.
But he
fans,
is only 20 years old.
It's because he changed his name to Diaz. You see, now
Genuinely,
he's
yeah,
really
is it?
good. That's all it is. But I don't know. I think I wouldn't go for Nketiah or even someone like maybe someone from the Bundesliga. Maybe someone. I just think we need someone with a good attitude who can come on and actually look like getting us a goal.
That screws my question, because when you said good attitude, because I was going to say, would you take Mitrovic?
Oh, yeah. I'd take him without hesitation.
I would. Because the thing is, his attitude isn't a bad one as such.
No.
Because he backs it up. He backs it up every time. He's a bully. That's what he is. He's a bully. Aaron Connolly, we talk about attitude. He's not a bully. He doesn't cause problems. He causes problems but he doesn't cause problems on it. Whereas Mitrovic is a nuisance to play against, and he scores goals to make up for it.
But
I would take Mitrovic.
Off the pitch, I don't think Mitrovic is like, he's not like a bad egg. I don't think he's an idiot. Yeah, I think he's similar to Morpay. I think in a way that he's a horrible horrible wanker on the pitch, but off the pitch he's. But
if he plays for you, you love him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. He has a great relationship with fans.
He's like Andone, but a little less unhinged. Like Andone's just like mental. That's why I kind of like him a little bit. He's a bit of a loose cannon, but he's like him, but good.
That's the trouble again with Andone. He doesn't back it up. And just before you end, actually, sorry, I just looked up Zakiri's stats just because I wanted to have a look. Because obviously you went to the Bundesliga. You were saying about signing Bundesliga centre forwards, but he has only played 12 games and scored 2 goals. I didn't realise it was that bad a return for them. So
he's got a few assists though.
Has he?
I'll be one man Zakiri prop, I think.
No, I don't. I'm not against Zakiri by any means, but I just mean, you want to improve the squad.
There's rumours about Mitoma being terminated loans as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that because of his points.
Yeah,
but
I would keep him there.
He wouldn't be the answer. Yeah, keep him there for the season. I think he must be doing it right then. But
help out USG as well.
Yeah.
We should wrap up with Jack. You got to get ready for work.
Yeah, I've got ready for work.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
so
my
much.
Work is
You've helped us out so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we won't say there what it is, but mate, honestly, like we messaged Jack this morning because we were meant to start filming at 10:30. Maz is testing for COVID. He probably has got it. He said he can't even talk. That's why he's not doing the pod. I messaged Jack on Twitter. He got back to me straight away. So thank you so much for helping out.
I was in bed when he messaged me. And really? I've got out of bed within about a 10-minute spell. I know it's perfect. 12:30. I can go crashing into work and tell them about my exciting day.
Escapades.
Yeah.
But again, Jack, thank you for coming on. His
Twitter,
his Instagram will be below, so make sure you follow it if you haven't already.
Follow it. You can see all the shit which happens in my life, which is incredibly entertaining.
And a fun fact for everyone: your middle name is actually Albion.
Yeah, right? My middle name is actually Albion.
No way.
My father cursed me with that middle name. So no longer with us.
It was either West Brom or Brighton.
Yeah, West Brom or Brighton.
Rest in peace.
Well, no, I could go live in. We'll end on this. I could live in Brighton, West Brom, Burton, Stirling in Scotland, Tadcaster or Witton. They're all the places called Albion.
Witton, mate. Obviously.
I'm sorry, but there's one thing that's
Albion Sports near Leeds as well. There's 7 places. 7. No.
There's one thing that I've really learned today, and that is Jack's extensive knowledge of non-league football. It is to be admired. It really is. But no, Jack, absolute legend, mate. Thank you for coming on.
If you're going to Chichester,
you really helped us out.
If you're going to Chichester v Burgess Hill tonight, I know it'll probably go out after this. Well, I'm going to that, so say hello.
No, I will. It should be out around 5ish, maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if I get it.
If you're watching Chichester City in the big game against Burgess Hill Town, come down and say hello.
And support Storrington FC as well while you're at it.
Oh, I was going to go there on Saturday. Yesterday. Not yesterday, day before, but the game got called off because apparently the pitch is terrible there.
That's every single week for most clubs, isn't it?
Yeah.
On that level. Well, if you don't have a 3G pitch or a 4G pitch, then you're pretty much screwed.
That's why I went to Stenning, this time of year, bigger club.
Yeah, big club.
No, we're not ending it on that. Right, anyway, end the podcast. Get it gone.
Jack, if you do watch a podcast, which I hope you do, we have to end on we tell the listeners to put something in the comments. Okay. So, what should we put in the comments this week? Put me on the spot a bit.
Ooh, that's a good one. Who?
Well, obviously, something right now obvious would be that guy Wells in all caps.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it, really.
just right. Nzuzi Toko, the greatest Brighton player of all time.
Okay, yeah, do
in
that.
the comments.
Nzuzi
Toko, yeah. Honestly,
and also in a separate comment, write that guy Welbs as well.
And right.
Well, again, thank you so much for listening and watching. Please make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell because some of you don't, and you're not true fans. If you don't.
hit the notification bell.
There you go. If Jack does it, then
Yeah.
you should do it as well. Leave a review on Apple and Spotify, because you can do it on Spotify now, so that's banging. And even just go onto the app and just press play for 1 second.
Yeah.
Just get the plays up, mate. Not that we need it, because we get millions of listeners and views every single episode. Massive club. Massive club. Ryan, thank you for coming on. Jack, thank you for coming on. And I hope you all have a fantastic new year. And NYE. Peace.